Hello, and welcome to the Zaffie Show. We're happy to be here today and hope that you will join us. It's been so hot. I'm so thankful for the fresh air and the dryness today. It's been hot, 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 too hot.
I agree. Oops,
yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. Driving over here, I looked at the river, and all the boats in the water just look beautiful. What a beautiful scenery. Maine is beautiful. I don't care what time of year, it's beautiful. And today, I'm going to introduce Delilah. How do you say your last name?
Pupor.
Puput?
Pupor.
Puport.
Yep.
That's cute.
Yes, thank you.
And she is Executive Director of Heart of Biddeford.
Got it.
And how did you get interested in that?
Well, when I moved to Maine with my husband, because he grew up in Maine, we were living in Saco at the time, and we heard about things like Art Walk going on in Biddeford, and there were some community conversations that were happening, and that is exactly the kind of thing I love to do. So I would attend the events and meet people downtown, and I loved the little stores. I'd walk my daughter over in the stroller, and I just started falling in love with Biddeford, and I'd always worked in community development, and so this job opened up in 2011, and I've been working there ever since.
It's just perfect for you.
I do love it. It's great.
You do a good job, too.
Well, thank you.
And you have lots of good ideas.
Well, it is about ideas, and, a lot of times we have all these committees that work with us, so there's a new idea coming in every day, and we try to figure out how can we make that happen or fit that into something we're doing. And so maybe I'm better at coordinating ideas than necessarily coming up with ideas all the time. But I like to help ideas come to fruition. Yeah.
That's good. And you have a big event coming up.
Yes, River Jam Festival is coming. It's only a couple of weeks away now.
It's 2 days.
It is. It starts on Friday night, September 14th. And then it's all day Saturday on September 15th. And we're actually having our 5th year this year of it. And it continues to grow and have some really fun new additions to it, great music, and I'd love to tell you all about it, whatever you're interested in.
Well, I think I'm interested in the whole thing, and I think the folks would be too.
Good. Well, we would love the entire community of Biddeford to come, for sure. I'll mention it now. It does have a website, riverjamfest.com, and it's also on Facebook. So if any of these details are missed, they can certainly find it online or call Heart of Biddeford too. But it starts with Friday nights. It's called the Fringe Festival. And it's because, the River Jam Festival has always been a day long, from 8 in the morning to 11 at night event. And kind of on the fringe of it is Friday night. And what could kind of happen on that night that's a little different? And so Engine, do you know the arts nonprofit?
I've heard of Engine.
Yep. They
tell us what Engine is, so everybody will know.
It's located right on Main Street, and they have a gallery there that you can come in during the week and
is
see
that
art.
In the mill?
No, it isn't. It's actually, where the Rennie's building used to be?
Yes, yeah.
Right across the street from it. Right there, 128 Main Street. And that's run by Tammy Ackerman and a couple of other staff in there, so they always have a gallery showing. They have a 3D printing lab in the back, so if people of all ages want to come in and print out a prototype of something they're working on or a plaque or something like that, they can do that on their 3D printer. And they also just help spur artistic endeavors throughout the downtown.
We have a lot of talent in Saco and Biddeford.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's right. And so that's kind of a landing zone for a lot of artists to bring ideas. And when we have the River Jam Festival, Friday night's really devoted to an artist's twist on it, I would say. So there will be 3 different music acts playing throughout the night right on Main Street. We're shutting off Main Street in that block from, where Happy Dragon is on Alfred Street up to Washington. So there'll be musicians playing, and then quite a few different artists are coming in. One group is called Lumen Art, and Art is ARRT, and it stands for Artist Rapid Response Team, and they like to promote different social ideas through their art by illuminating buildings with it.
Oh my goodness.
So the buildings downtown will be lit up. I'm not sure how or which buildings, with different phrases or pictures or moving images and things like that. So that's always really fun to be on Main Street in the dark, seeing things lit up on the buildings.
That's a good idea.
I know. Well,
It's different.
that's those creative people coming in and just, having their take on what would be neat to see. And I don't even know all of the artists' offerings, but they're people like that who have an interesting twist on the arts. We also have 4 restaurants participating. So Cowbell Burger Bar, Yetto's. Have you ever been to Yetto's? They're one of the newest restaurants downtown. They're going to be bringing their pulled pork sandwiches down there. Biscuits and Company will have some, and Sweet Cream Dairy will participate. So people can walk around and try different foods. In the park, Chevenel Park, which is right in that area.
Where is it?
It's located.
I don't know all these parks.
Yes. Well, in the past, it was a building there, and decades ago,
right
the building got knocked
in the middle
down.
of Biddeford.
Yes,
Yeah.
right in the middle of Biddeford. If you know where Cowbell Burger Bar is, it's kind of right across the street from that, right by Franklin Street. And we put barricades there and have the breweries and some wine set up in there for people who, they get a wristband if they're over 21, and they can try out our breweries too, who are another form of art. They're called crafters, craft beers. So you can kind of see, I know there's this new one called Nuts and Bolts, and they put together very interesting combinations of things in their beers. One that they may bring to this event is their strawberry basil beer.
Ooh, sounds good.
I know, beer with that kind of stuff in it. So, if you're of age and you do drink, you can go in that part of the event and have alcohol.
Can you sit there? Will there be benches?
There's benches and chairs there, yep. But also on Main Street, there will be tables. And one of the most exciting additions this year is called a pie luck.
Now, what is that?
It's a potluck with pies.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So over 50 people have
Wait a minute
volunteered.
now. What kind of pies?
Well, over 50 people are bringing pies.
Not pizzas, real pies.
Real pies.
Okay.
And 50 different people are bringing them. So
that sounds even better than the beer.
I know. So, there will be, and it'll be free. And it doesn't matter if you didn't bring a pie, you can still have a slice of pie. We'll be setting up this long table all the way down the middle of Main Street with red and white checkered tablecloths, and be a chance for people to just take a piece of pie, sit down, meet somebody new while they're listening to great music playing and seeing interesting art events happening. So
Sounds
that's
great.
Fun, different, all free, other than buying your dinner, or if you do drink alcohol and want to buy that. But it's just an opportunity for everybody to come down to Main Street. There isn't a ton of parking right there, so people will have to be a little creative. If anybody were, in a wheelchair or couldn't walk far, we will have a spot for people to be able to drop someone off, and they can get
Good
out of the
idea.
car, and then the other person can go park. At least that will help a little bit.
There are a lot of parking lots.
There are.
You might have to walk a few steps, but it's not much.
Right. From the police station, Foss Street, Washington Street, there are public lots around there. So hopefully people will be willing to walk a little bit to come to a really fun, free event. And that's from 5 to 9 at night. So you can come at the beginning. All of that will be available at 5 o'clock, or if you're more of a late night
Sounds
person, you
so
can come at
good.
the end.
The pie business. Ooh.
I know. I think there's even. I'm pretty sure there's a company in the mill called Maine Pie Co., and they only make gluten-free pie, and I believe they have donated several pies as well. So if people don't eat gluten, wheat, then they can still have a pie.
I love pie, but I can't make a crust.
Oh my gosh, who can make a crust?
My husband used to go like this, and he'd make the best crust.
Did he use lard?
I don't remember. If he was home, he used butter.
Oh yeah.
But maybe, I don't know what it used at work.
Yeah. I think my mom's specialty was lard.
It's flaky. I've tried everything.
Yeah, you just-
I've put it in the refrigerator. I've timed it. I have done everything, and it just doesn't work.
That's why I go to the grocery store and take it out of the freezer section, and
Yeah.
that works just fine.
But
I
it's
think.
not the same.
No, it's not. It's not. So we'll see. We'll get to see people's pie specialties that night. That'll
That's
be
on the
fun.
Friday night.
It is Friday the
Yeah.
14th.
And let's see, I've written here, you have family activities,
Yeah.
paddle on the Saco.
Yeah, there are so many people who've never had an opportunity to get on the Saco River. Most of us don't have boats, so how would we get out there? But now Rummery's Boatyard, which is on Water Street, it's actually not, it's called Cleves at that point, but near our daytime events on Saturday, between 1 and 3 at Rummery's Boatyard. It's our rec department, Biddeford Recreation Department, will have canoes out there. There may be kayaks too, and life jackets, and anybody can come for free to try canoeing on the river for a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Dash to the sea.
Right. So if you are if you do already have a kayak, canoe, or paddleboard, have you seen those stand-up paddle boards? People who stand on them. You can do the paddle to the sea, dash to the sea race. That starts at 10 in the morning, and that's also run by Biddeford Recreation Department. So you can go on their website to sign up for that in
Now
advance.
that's a race.
It is. They have a short one and a long one. One goes 2 miles down and back, and the other goes all the way 4 miles down and back up the river. And everyone who signs up and participates in that gets a River Jam T-shirt, and they'll have some other prizes for people. So if you like a paddle race, last year it happened as well, and it's really fun. I didn't do the race because I would probably drown, but I was on the other side of the river watching them as they came across the finish line, and it's exciting to watch.
It is.
Before that in the morning, I guess Saturday really starts out at 8 o'clock with the 5K road race. And people can sign up for that in advance from the River Jam website, or they can sign up that day. And that's at 8 in the morning. Starts up at Clifford Park on Poole Street. And we'll have it's 5 kilometers and ends down at Mechanics Park. And it's kind of a way to kick off the day, maybe with a little exercise. My favorite part is you can sign up as a team this year. And the winning team will win this, I'm calling it Biddeford's Ultimate Prize Package. And it will be filled with gift certificates and T-shirts and other kind of what they call swag from about 10 different businesses. So your team will get to split up some Rover bagels and a T-shirt from Palace Diner and gift certificate to Dirigo Brewing and things like that. And so they'll get a chance to learn a bit more about Biddeford as well if they win.
And there's a circus acts.
Yes. So 8 o'clock is the run, 10 o'clock is Dash to the Sea, noon to 4 is events, we're just calling it Family Fun in Mechanics Park. And so many community organizations are setting up community booths there so that there'll be really fun activities for kids to walk around and play games and try to win
something
prizes.
for everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And Salam Circus, which is our new circus school here in the Mill, will be doing performances throughout the afternoon down at Mechanics Park as well.
In the Mill?
Yes, yes. When you walk in the Pepperell Mill, it's 40 Main Street. There's like Portland Pie, Sweet Cream Dairy. In that entrance right there is a new circus school called Salam Circus School. And the man Salam has trained many circus artists who've been in, have you ever heard of Cirque du Soleil? That performing group, as well as Circus Smirkus, the kids troupe that does circus. So he's a professional coach of circus artists, and they have this beautiful space there in the Mill, and they have people moving to Biddeford just to get to train with him in his school that's open.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really new.
I'm always learning something.
Well, you're up to date because it doesn't even open until about a week from now.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
And music.
Yes. So the daytime there in Mechanics Park has two different music acts. One is Freddie Dame, who I swear if you looked at his Facebook page, he's playing every single night of the week. He's just the most prolific performer. Plays a lot of Beatles songs, songs that everybody knows and can sing along to. And the other group is called Sister Steel. And they're a steel band, steel drum band. So it's not singing, they all just have their own steel drums and make music. And I think it'll make kind of a party atmosphere down in Mechanics Park for a couple of hours.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but then River Jam moves across the bridge for the evening. If you know where Run of the Mill is
On Saco side?
on the Saco side, where York Hill is, if you enter there at Run of the Mill and walk around to the back, there's this large parking lot right on the river. And we have this big, beautiful stage set up and professional lighting and sound system. And 4 bands will be playing there from 4:30 in the afternoon till the lights go out at 11 o'clock at night. We've got some food trucks. Run of the Mill will be setting up their beer tent for people who want beer. I just realized we need to make sure we do have soda for sale somewhere. I'm not sure. So, that everybody has something if they want to pick something up there. And shall I tell you a little bit about the bands that are playing?
Sure.
Okay. It starts with, this new band out of Portland called Snug House. Actually they did say that's what they named their rehearsal space, and then it became their band name. It's 4 musicians. One plays this huge upright bass. They all sing, and their harmonies are amazing.
I love harmonizing.
It's just beautiful, and I think, it will draw people down the hill from both cities to just walk back there, see the beautiful river, hear this beautiful music, and kind of set up for an evening. The second band, so they'll play for an hour, and then the next band is named Bree Lane, and she is a young adult woman. I don't think she's even 20 yet. And last year she won our Battle of the Band contest. And her voice, she should be on radio right now. She's really, really good, has a great sound, writes her own music, and they'll play for an hour, and I think they have a really good draw among younger people, but I think every age will like her because, she sounds like what you hear on the radio right now. She's really good. Have you ever heard Sylvain's Acadian Aces? They play Acadian, French, Cajun, kind of a mix of tunes. They're out of Portland.
Sounds good.
They're the third band of the night. They played at La Kermesse this year, and people really loved them, and I love them. They're singing a whole bunch in French, but also even when they're singing in French, you know what they're singing about. It's really, they're singing about parties, and it's a fun scene. And then the night's going to end with 2 musicians. They're really well known in Portland, but they've also played with bands that have traveled around the country, Spencer Albee and Zach Jones, and they were in a band together for a while named As Fast As. And so this is a kind of a reunion show because Zach has moved out to California, but he's back for this. And so they're going to do a kind of a reunion show for a couple of hours playing
Sounds
a
wonderful.
whole range of music. So it's really fun getting over there, seeing, that's where a couple thousand people show up, and we're hanging out under the stars together. I've planned for the weather to be perfect. And there will be we'll have bleachers set up, but people are encouraged to bring lawn chairs if they want to.
The mill is getting to be like a village.
It is. Yeah, do you know there's 120 businesses just in the Pepperell Mill? And they range from, one accountant having his own office to Hyperlight Mountain Gear. There are over 50 employees in there. Mm-hmm. You've been in there?
Mm-hmm.
I can't, they're taking over more space all the time because they just keep expanding. And they're on the front of Outdoor Magazine. And when people do their treks up the Mount Everest, they take pictures of themselves in their Hyperlight Mountain Gear. Like, it's really good high level camping gear and hiking gear that they make right there in our mills.
It's been a long time since I was in there, but I was in there. I've got to go again.
Yes. You know, you just reminded me that I forgot a piece of the Friday night's events. It involves going in the mills. There's a group who are doing an art exhibit on that Friday night, September 14th, during the Fringe Festival called Influx. And you just walk over to the mill and you can get a map, or if you're on a phone, you might be able to even download the map onto your phone. And you'll go kind of like on a scavenger hunt around the mill to these 7 different locations where artists are setting up their own art installation. So it's not in a gallery and, you know, perfect lighting everywhere. It might be against a wall in an alley, or you know, just set up in the public space there as you walk in. But that group is called Influx, so that's a whole other piece I forgot to mention. And it kind of gives people a chance to walk by and see just how many businesses are all around the mill too.
It's a lot of work,
Yes, it is.
a lot of planning,
Oh my gosh.
and a lot of sponsors.
Yeah, can I mention the sponsors?
Yes.
Well, the Saco and Biddeford Savings, you know, they donate to so many causes that, you know, make sure that people aren't hungry, that make sure people aren't cold in the winter and have jackets, and but they also contribute to just community events that help bring people together. And those two are our largest sponsors in the community. Also, the City of Biddeford and the City of Saco have contributed, both finances as well as just the Public Works Department being willing to bring out all those barricades and bleachers and everything that they do. We couldn't do it if they weren't able to help, and the police departments as well. The Pepperell Mill campus is another major sponsor. And then we do have 2 more layers of sponsors, people who are, you know, committed to a certain part of the Dash to the Sea or the 5K road race. They're helping out in those areas. So I would love it if people clicked on the River Jam website and just to our sponsors page just to see how many people are willing to help out. But we could not do it without
You didn't
that.
bring any posters with you today, did you?
I did not. I went by my office to pick one up this morning, and the person who's delivering all the posters around had them all this morning.
You know, I think if you send them one, they'd put it on.
Yeah, great. I can do that.
And that's a big help.
Yes, yeah.
The more it gets out there, the better.
Yes, we have banners over Main Street in both cities. There's TV ads and radio ads coming right up. We've got little campaign lawn signs around kind of the whole community outside Biddeford and Saco even, and all that social media, trying to get Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and everything so that everybody, we don't want anybody to say, oh, I didn't know this was coming up, because we think it really does have something for everybody that weekend.
Not everybody has a computer.
No, it's true. Oh, we also have put about 5,000 postcards
Good.
in a whole bunch of restaurants throughout
Good.
town. So if you are out to eat, you might see it on a countertop too, or shopping. So we're trying.
I know,
everything.
I've seen them in different places.
Oh, good, good. And the newspapers have been good about both Journal Tribune and the Courier have put articles in already, and hopefully another one next week just to keep building the suspense for it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. It's a lot of details, right?
It is, it is, it is.
But the main gist is, you know, come on down. It's free. It's open. There's something for young people, old people, everybody in the middle. You know, so let's get together and have a good time.
I can think of a lot of things that sound good.
Yeah, good. Did you hear anything in particular that you definitely want to see or?
Well, the music, the pies, everything.
Right. If there's music and pies, why do we need
Even
anything
just the
else? Really?
people.
Yeah, right. Just getting together. I think that part about sitting on Main Street for the pie potluck, will be really fun. Just seeing people sit next to each other who might not know each other and getting to hear what brought them downtown.
That's what happens at those events. I know at our festival, someone from Northern Maine might meet a relative from Massachusetts.
Oh, that's great.
It
Yeah,
happens
this is
all
the
the
spot to
time.
come together. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Are you recovered from the Greek festival?
Yeah.
takes a few months of walks to work off those calories, doesn't it?
I know it.
Yeah.
Takes months to prepare.
Oh, it does, yeah.
And a lot of people.
It's a wonderful event.
And lots of volunteers.
If people want to help out with River Jam Festival, we do. We'd love to have volunteers. Might be staffing a table to sell T-shirts or helping crafters set up. Kind of everything in between, helping keep the 5K road race safe. We do have a lot of volunteer opportunities, so people can contact us at Heart of
How about
Biddeford.
cleaning up?
That's always good.
Yeah.
11 o'clock on Saturday night when it's all over, sometimes it's 4 of us standing there going, okay, guys, let's move those bleachers and remove that, barricade.
It's a lot of work.
We would love some folks who are able to be awake at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night and willing to help, for sure.
Well, it's coming close.
It is. We had a great event last Sunday in Main Street where all of the University of New England freshmen came for a block party on Main
I
Street.
didn't even hear about it.
Well, it was just for the freshmen, so we weren't really publicizing it to the community, but I've got to get some pictures out from it because they came down, they got to try some restaurants, the university provided a bunch of activities for them, they visited businesses that stayed open for it. It was on a Sunday night.
That's a good way to promote business.
Yeah.
They might come up for a meal.
Yes. In longer past, University of New England didn't feel like this was their downtown, and now they're really communicating, this is our town, this is our city. We're going to bring our freshmen there on their first night on campus to show them this is what you can take a bus downtown.
That's another good idea.
Yeah. That took a kind of a long time to make that all come together, but I'm really glad it went well, and I'm hoping all those freshmen will come downtown. And
Were there a lot of them that came?
700.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was packed. The whole Main Street is kind of in that same block that we're doing the Fringe Festival. It was just filled with students playing the games that we'd set up and enjoying food and checking out the businesses. So.
That's smart. You're using the sources that we have.
Yeah, right. And we are really fortunate that we have a downtown that people want to cooperate and work together. I'm sure Biscuits and Company didn't necessarily want to come work from 8 to 10 on a Sunday night,
Yeah.
but they knew this was an important piece in building a connection with University
And
of
it
England.
is.
So they, were willing to help out with that. And again, Salam Circus, they stayed open that night, so the students all walked in there, kind of watched some demonstrations, got to try out some of the equipment a little bit, and it's all part of, people pitching in to bring the downtown along.
I've got to go back into the mill. I haven't been there for a while.
Yes, yeah, well, I'd be happy to give you a tour, and then I'd find a few new places while I walked too, probably. So,
Nice.
Yeah. The last Biddeford Mills Museum tour of the summer is tomorrow, September 1st. But if people do want to do the Mills Museum tour, you can still contact them for special tour opportunities that happen. And there's going to be a really beautiful display from the Biddeford Mills Museum in that big open event space right between Portland Pie and
Right in the front almost.
Mm-hmm.
That big room.
Exactly.
That room's good.
Yeah, and it's great for events, but then this will be just set up all the time so people can walk in. There's already a beautiful mural on the wall, and I have found it so helpful because people will often ask me, when were these mills built and how long was Pepperell here? And it's all spelled out through a beautiful mural on the wall.
Can you believe it? All these years and they're still standing.
Right. Apparently, because people here in Biddeford innovated, came up with new solutions, it's locally that they invented the Velux blanket. And so those mills were open and operating through 2009. And so fortunately, the West Point, continued to pay for upgrades, put in great sprinkler systems, and so those mills were in pretty great condition. And I think that partly contributes to why they've been able to just fill it with small business after small business. Which
The rooms are big,
they are, and high ceilings.
high ceilings.
Yeah. My husband and daughter and I moved into an apartment in
Did you?
the North Dam Mill. And it's, it's smaller than a house for sure, but because the ceilings, I think they're as high as this room, it feels really spacious and light in there, and it's kind of easier to keep
And the
up.
windows?
Yes, beautiful big windows. So we really like it. And then if we get hungry at 8 at night, we can walk over to Sweet Cream and get an ice cream or Portland pie.
Yeah, the good ice cream, good pies.
Yeah. That's one of the only ice cream places that's also a dairy. So they're, they make the ice cream from all local ingredients. The milk comes from Harris Farm, and then they'll work in strawberries and peaches from Sanford. And their mint ice cream, have you ever tried their mint ice
Oh,
cream?
I love mint ice cream, no.
Well, this, they'll tell you, I think you should try it first before they sell it to you, because they take mint leaves and that is the mint flavoring. So it tastes kind of like mint tea instead of kind of that sweeter green mint. And then, of course, chocolate chunks in there too.
Oh, I love that.
So it's really good.
I have some mint mixed in with my flowers,
Yes.
but it spreads. It's invasive.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, but I love the smell.
Me too. I even just walking by and
Yeah.
smelling it, it's nice. It's very invigorating, I guess. But it's good in ice cream.
Can you imagine? I wasn't, let me see. I don't know, the mill's closed in what year? Do you remember?
The final closure was in 2009, and certainly it was happening over decades. More and more of it was closing.
See, I came afterwards
Oh, you did?
in 1949,
You did. Okay.
so I missed all that.
Well, 1949, that was, would you still come downtown on in Main Street in Biddeford?
When I came, I remember Saturday nights, Friday nights, the streets were crowded, and all you could hear was French. And we had some wonderful stores, Palakwich and Penny's, and
Penny's was on Main Street
Yeah.
too? Wow, wow. Yeah.
yeah, all those nice stores. Butlers, you could go in there and buy anything.
Yep. I mean, I want to say those days, it sounds like people just loved bringing their whole family downtown,
Yep.
and you'd run into
We had a 5 and
neighbors
10.
So it's very different from then. But there are a lot of neat new things.
You could find beautiful clothes.
I heard there was a great children's clothing store. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, miss it.
Do you know, these were all, what I'm wearing was made in the mills.
Was
and
it?
is for sale in downtown Biddeford, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Angel Rocks, a woman named Roxy Sugar. She came here. This has bamboo in it, I guess, bamboo and cotton. And she designs these here in the mill. They came with just a few employees at first, and now they're up over 25 employees.
They're still there, aren't they?
They are. They're sewing in the mills, and then they have Sugar, it's called. Roxy's last name is Suger, Sugar, so that's the name of their clothing store. And you can buy these clothes right there on the
nice.
street. Yeah, so there are clothes for sale. It's just a whole different generation, and sometimes everybody knew what was in Sears or what was in Butler's, and so you have to kind of explore a little bit and go into Sugar and Trillium as well. That's up right by Biddeford Savings Bank. They also sell some pretty great clothes too. So I don't think there's much in the way of men's
Newlands
clothes
was
yet.
up there.
Right. And Newlands, Walter is still in the back of Trillium.
Good for him. We need him.
I know.
I do. I
You
ruin
wear
all
a
my
watch,
jewelry.
right? You
Yep.
have to have a watch and jewelry repair store, right? Yep.
I ruin everything, so I
love that.
I can keep him going.
We need that. Thank you. Keep downtown going.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we have a lot of things.
Yep. It's there's always room to grow. There's spaces still open, but we're getting more and more interest. Certainly, the food scene has been the biggest growth on Main Street. And fortunately, places that have kind of been here the longest are still beloved and doing well. Pizza by Alex,
George's Italian. They've been here forever.
Right. And Riley's Bakery just had a big article this week about Elizabeth Riley, because they...
I saw that.
Did you? Isn't that a great picture of her?
I interviewed her, must be grandfather.
Oh, really? Oh, my gosh, I love it. I never met him. I know Mike Riley, of course, her dad, who was running it, but...
It must be her grandfather. It wouldn't be her father. No, I think it'd be her grandfather.
Mike just retired, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen their new work by their decorator,
Oh, beautiful.
She is so great. My daughter, every time we walk by the store, has to stop and see the new design there, because my daughter particularly likes unicorns, and there's a cake with a unicorn horn on it, and rainbows, and she loves it. So really fun new stuff they're doing there too.
I like frosting.
Me too. You can kind of skip the cake usually. I'll just say I like the frosting, but not everybody's like us. Some people just take the frosting off and eat the cake.
I know.
But we're frosting people. It's good.
We try not to be, but we are.
I know.
Yeah. It's wonderful when you think back.
Yep, right. A lot of people, built this city, and their work in the mills were so important and drew people from so many countries. I heard from Pete LaMontagne, he's one of the Biddeford Mills Museum founders. He said at one time over the employee entrance, there was a flag for every country represented in the mills. And he said at one time there were 26 flags up there. So people from 26 countries came here to Biddeford, Maine to maybe start a new life, or come here and work for a while and then send money back home, or, so many interesting stories. And that's who built this city.
There's so many stories. We don't know them all.
Mm-hmm. We definitely want to, Heart of Biddeford, and then there are some other organizations, plus a new one called the Biddeford Cultural and Heritage Center, I think that's their last letter, are really trying to bring out those stories, and they have a Hall of Fame kind of honoring people for their cultural contributions over the decades here. So there are a lot of people working to make sure we don't lose what Biddeford has always been. It's good to create some changes and create new opportunities, but you want to do that without losing.
My mother was born in America, but my father came from Greece, and he was very young. He worked in the mill for a while, but he didn't like it. So he left and went to Kittery and opened up the Kittery Fruit Store right at the Navy Yard entrance. And in those days, there was only one entrance.
That is really
He made ice cream, and he was an artist. Ice cream, and he had a farm, and he'd take the strawberries and make rainbow ice cream, and the ice cream would come out of the machine in ripples. I remember that. He made candy.
Oh my gosh.
I'd go down, I was young. I'd go down behind the counter and eat candy, and I'd be sick at midnight.
I bet you would.
And the first time my mother, what's the matter with her?
Mm-hmm.
After that, she knew it was the candy.
Mm-hmm. Darn
And
it.
sugar's not good for us.
Yes.
I've had more than my share.
That was very innovative of your dad to figure out to go to that spot. And
And one brother went to Dover, and one brother went to Kittery with him.
Oh, interesting. How many brothers came over, or how many family
3.
members? Okay.
I think my father was very young. Mm-hmm. He spoke perfect English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he even went to school. I know he went to art school. And if we said, I remember one day I said, worser. He said, there's no such word. You're in America, speak English.
Oh,
But we had to know our Greek, too.
Oh, good. Well, see, both, right?
My mother chased me around grade school to take me to Greek school in Portsmouth, and I didn't want to go. And she chased me around the school building. She got me.
Oh, she did.
I'm glad she did.
Yeah, well, you can't tell when you're little that this is going to be important, but of course, if you lose your language, it's very
Because
hard
now
to get it
people
back.
come to America, and if they can't speak English, we talk to them in their language.
Yes. Around the rest of the world, people do accommodate us for only
They
knowing
most
English.
certainly do. I went to Greece to see where my father grew up, and I spoke to the people in Greek, and they answered me in English.
No kidding!
Yes.
Wow. They could tell you were from America? Or?
Because we don't say the Greek words like they do.
Right. There's always the English or the American version of it, isn't it? Yeah.
I said,
should tell them, try me in.
And I had friends that went to Greece and they said, will you teach us some Greek words like hello and thank you? I said, you really don't need them.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice when you go somewhere abroad if you can.
It's being thoughtful.
Yep. Even in Montreal, I've tried my French a little up there, and they're not very impressed with me. No.
Maybe that's why they answer us in English.
I think so. They know. They know.
I know.
Yep. But those languages, those cultures, that's what makes us interesting and good conversation. So
I know our festival. They love the food. They come in smiling and happy and leave, with packages.
Yeah.
Just as happy as can be.
Absolutely. I mean, that is very special, delicious food. And, thinking of the baklava, the layers there, how much care that takes to make those people. Just, they can taste the love in it, I think. It's really good.
Yeah.
Same with like what do you know what the pies are, the meat pies are called here in Biddeford, the pork pies?
Pork pies.
Yeah, pork pies. And people, those, you have your family's recipe of it.
They had their pork pies at special days.
Yeah. So it's fun to learn what people's cultures really like.
We learned something.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently Greeks like sweets.
We do.
Yep. And lamb?
Lamb.
Yep.
We have a lot of ways of cooking lamb. I think I'm going to go home and make lamb and spinach and rice.
What time should I be over?
But it's hard when you're cooking for one.
Yes.
I have to call the kids and see if they want to come over.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I bet they like that, and your grandkids. And do your great-grandchildren eat your...
They're still babies.
Yeah.
But they like pizza.
You should not be allowed to eat pizza until you're 12.
Right.
Because once you've eaten pizza, everything else seems,
I know.
It's something so good about it, but it kind of makes you...
I'll never forget.
Other
What
stuff.
was it? I had two of my grandchildren. They were young. And it was early in the morning, and they wanted blueberry pancakes. So I always had real maple syrup. They didn't want that. They wanted the one from the store.
Oh my goodness. They don't know. But when they're older, they'll know that that's the one you want,
And my daughters, when I was having one daughter, the other daughter was being babysit by a lady friend, and she had a little farm, and she was going to give them eggs for breakfast, so they went out in the barn to get the eggs. She says, I want store eggs.
Oh my gosh, right.
She was this big.
She knew the ones that come in a nice container that I know what's in there. Yeah.
Everything changes, though.
Yeah. So right now with Heart of Biddeford, even something like the clock tower on in the downtown, it's a symbol of the past. It's actually how well the clock works or how it runs is not as important as there was this picture that we used through decades and decades of this is the symbol of your downtown. And so it's one of the things that we care about and want to preserve as much as languages and cultures. Sometimes there's other symbols that just remind us that we're not just letting go of the past. So it's always a trick to figure out what to save and what to spend money on to save, but that's
and when you go in the mill, you walk down the halls, in your imagination you picture all these people with blankets, and I can't imagine.
Right. Have you heard the stories about how loud it was in there?
No.
It was apparently practically deafening. It was so loud when all of the weavers were...
equipment.
Yeah, the equipment was going. So it was loud and extremely hot. This might be why your grandfather or your father did not like it there. There were some parts of the mill that had to be over 100 degrees hot in order for the cotton to separate, apparently. So they were working, I'm sure, longer days than we work now in loud, hot conditions. People had very hard jobs in those mills.
And they probably were happy to have them.
Well, they had a good good check from what I understand, or not check, they'd go to the counting house for their payment and then be able to walk over to the bank and put money in the bank. And I think there were a lot of pluses to life at that time, as well as challenges and hardships, but that's what
And
brought
didn't
people
they-
together, you know.
In the Saco Museum, they had stories about the women that came from Canada
Yes,
and lived here and worked and sent money home.
right, and most of them were 16
girls,
years
yeah.
old. Yeah, imagine at that time leaving your country and your farm, coming to work in the factories, living with a bunch of other girls in a house. It'd be quite an adventure. I don't think I could have done it.
I know, me too. I don't know if I would have let my daughter go.
I know, but that
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
partly a...
that's the way it was.
Yeah, right.
You had to survive. There's a lot we don't know we're lucky for.
I agree. Yep. So celebrations are one way to kind of do that, to call out our history and past and our connections. So that's why we do, like the River Jam is in Biddeford and Saco.
I couldn't understand that, but I do now.
Yeah, just mostly during the day and on Saturday in Biddeford, and then crossing over the bridge to Saco on Saturday night. So we're...
That's nice the two cities are working together.
Yeah, it's great. And I think it's tied to a bunch of other efforts that the two cities have been doing since we started doing River Jam Festival. The city councils meet, it's like every 2 weeks, or maybe it's 4 times a year. I mean, it's 2 months or 4 times a year. And there are more shared services, like there's one assessor for both cities. And I think there's a couple of other jobs like that too. So we're finding ways to collaborate in all kinds of ways. So if it saves money and people's time, that sounds like a good thing.
I know one thing they don't agree on, and that's the football.
Right.
The Battle of the Bridge.
Yeah. That'll just probably last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never forget when I first came here. It was Thanksgiving. Cold, icy, snowy.
And a football game.
Yep.
Talk about hard-working, hardy people, right?
My husband played, my son played. Yeah.
Have you seen the articles about the work Jim Godbout and others have been volunteering to do to bring the Biddeford's football stadium
Yeah.
back? So, I mean, so many volunteer hours and volunteered, donated supplies, and they're going to have a pretty wonderful place for football now and other games, I guess.
That's a big thing in Saco and Biddeford.
Yeah, it is.
They're really sports families. Yeah.
And a lot of them go on to college and play. And Brian DeMoulin, is that how you say it? I should know that. He's the hockey player who played here and then has gone on to play for, I better not say what the team is. I can't even remember now. I guess I'm not so great on sports references.
You can't be great on everything.
Thank you. Good. I watch them when I get around to it, but
Well, we can't watch everything.
no. Mostly I'm running around with work, and then my great 10-year-old daughter and her school things and gymnastics that she does, and just trying to save time for some friends and family stuff to do. So
And you want to enjoy them while they're young,
you sure do. Yep.
because they grow up so fast.
It's already been so fast with 10 years, so it seems like it'll probably be tomorrow when she's heading off to college if she does that. And so you're right, gotta.
Oh, and it's hard to let go. At least I find it hard.
I don't know anybody who says, "Oh, that was a cinch."
Yeah. I think our time is up.
Okay, well, it's so nice talking with you.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Thanks for letting me come
And I
on.
wish you overflowing success.
Great. Well, I hope you can come, and I hope
I'm going
everybody
to get
who watches
this to
gets there.
something.
Great. Good.
I'll come with a family member.
Wonderful. Thanks, Zaffie.
I can think of 2 or 3 places. I want to just go see.
You better come have some pie.
I'd love to.
I'll make sure to save you. a
And you
piece.
know, I couldn't figure out Saco Biddeford. How's that going to work? And it's nice.
Yeah. Good.
If we work together,
Right.
it's a lot of work to think and plan for an event like this, I know. And any pair of hands that can help for the smallest thing is appreciated.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
including this. Thank you for having me on here
It's
to
been a
help get the
pleasure.
word out.
Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while.
I know, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you have a lot of good ideas. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Well, folks, thank you for being with us. I think it's going to be fun. I hope the weather's good. Too bad it wouldn't be a full moon night, but I think we just had the full moon. But if it's a nice, comfortable evening, it should be. Thank you again for being with us. And as I always say, be careful, don't fall down. I hear it every day at home. Love, Zaffie.